I just want to jump in here and say something about the ladies tonight. Our beautiful ladies, and I mean this genuinely. But why do women try to control the conversation? We tell men we shouldn't care about beauty, we shouldn't care about makeup. If we're going to ask questions, we got to ask it a certain kind of way. Why can't we just let men have their thoughts and express them the way that they feel or the way that they want to without trying to control how men speak?
I'll answer that question because I think that's a fantastic question. I think the honest truth is that women don't have that same luxury. That when I was talking about earlier about men selling the dream, it became really critical about why do y'all let yourselves get into that? Why aren't you vetting the way you're supposed to? Why aren't you looking at men and their nature? And then when men talk about women in makeup, it's take it or leave it, right? And so when that criticism is then turned around, it becomes, well, why can't we speak freely? So I think it's one of those double-edged swords where either everybody's open to criticism or nobody's open to criticism, and we need
Well,
to be honest about where we stand on that conversation.
see
Sir
now
Hill,
that
Sir Hill, don't get me wrong. The only reason I said I didn't want Bruiser saying y'all is because I've been agreeing with most of the men's points, but he's been grouping me in saying y'all. I would never tell anyone how to speak. I was agreeing with a lot of his points, but he was looping me in with everyone and women and generalizing all women thinking the same. And that a lot of the points that you guys have made on different topics, like the dream, I believe that women sell themselves dreams. So I didn't speak on that. I've just been remaining quiet sitting here. I just wanted to make sure that there are other points and other perspectives here. But I have been quiet because I've been quietly listening.
Hey, Casey, I just want to put this out there, and I know this is your first time on the panel, and we often have these conversations about. I think when people talk, they may say you or y'all, but it's not about anybody that's on the panel.
yeah.
It's speaking in general, speaking to the majority, speaking to
Mm.
whoever wants to listen or it needs to be heard. So
No, JR, the only time I opened my mouth is when he said, "You women on the panel tonight." That's the only time I
oh,
decided to say
okay.
something. Yeah. Not
And
all the other stuff. That's the only time I decided to say something.
and
I think
two
hey,
oh
sorry, go ahead, Trigger Mike. I just want to kind of like close it off because I think I can appreciate Bruiser's point of view because a lot of men think that way, like the way he speaks, the way he, what his perspective. A lot of men think that way. So like, it's good to know that hey, you know what, there are men out there, but there's also men like Trigger Mike, Sir Hales, because they all three of the men don't like and Jr. Like you guys have different perspectives, so it's good to know there's the types of men that we have.
Look, I want to address that. And the reason I want to get into this is because women assume that men think like women. So women are all over the place. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different skin color. Everybody's a different person. Everybody has a different set of DNA. Everything is just different. Men think more in terms of groups. If you have 4 out of 10 things that are like somebody, you're in this group. If you got 6 out of those 10, you're like this. We think in generality. So when we're talking, we don't have the time to pinpoint every simple difference, right? We speak in generalities. And I think that women should understand that that's how men communicate. So when we say things, we're speaking from that general perspective that we see this a lot among women. And that's not to say that there are women who think differently. It's just to say that there's a commonality that all women have. And whether you guys disagree with that or not, all of the women on this panel do have some similarities. And I think that's what we speak to a lot in these kind of conversations.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we have similarities. We all have differences, but I think what men are like, what Bruiser and like you said, men are logical, right? So yeah, I think that's why you guys group women together, and that's when we always clash heads. Like we can't have like a decent conversation without saying, "Oh, he said, she said," or "Who's right, who's wrong," like all the time. So where do we come to a common ground? Be like, hey, you know what? We have perspectives. People are not going to be the same. This man could be totally different from the other one. That's how I think, at least. And I'm sure all the women in the panel think that way as well. We don't really say, oh, all men are the same. You guys are all dogs. Because I know I heard that before, but from younger girls, not women that I know. And these are not, we have to understand there's women who are like decent women, women who are not so decent, right? So we can't generalize them.
Well,
And I think
here's
that's
the reason why I do it. I want it to hit home. I want it to trigger you because every panel I get on, and it's just funny, it's just strange. Every panel I get on in any channel, all of the women that participate in the panel, it's always the part of the minority for some freaking convenient reason. Every single lady that come on any panel on any talk show, they're always somehow a part of the minority and never about the woman we're talking about. And you know why I do it? Because I don't buy that. I'm not convinced of that. And I know you're out there. I'm not going to sing you out. I'm not going to call your name. I'm just going to say things that's going to trigger you. And whenever it trigger you, a hit dog holler. It's no way in hell every woman on this panel, on every Lapeef freaking talk show, my panel, freaking it's no way in hell every woman is part of the minority and the woman is an exception from what we're talking about. It's no way impossible. It's too many women that come in these spaces. So I don't buy it.
Go ahead, Carson. Are you trying to get in there?
I don't even remember what we're talking about. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Like we've gone so far off. We got into makeup and everybody's particulars of things. I don't even know what we're talking about. I thought we were talking about trust. Now I don't know where they are because
trust is more important. Trust is more important than love.
Yeah, to me, trust is more important, and I can't love you if I don't trust you.
Damn. Trust deep, man.
I know she'll be back.
Trigger Mike was trying to get into.
Go ahead, Trigger Mike.
Oh, dang. Well, no
soliloquies,
man. No soliloquies.
Man, get out of here. You just had 5 soliloquies in a row. Talk about soliloquy. Spell it, Negro. All right. But no, I was going to respond to, I think, what Sir Hale said to, and then Inez responded, where Inez said, men I'm sorry, can you restate? You said women don't have the luxury of finishing their, stating things plainly, or
their point of views are not criticized. Or I think Sir Hale asked the question of why do women criticize when men are just simply explaining their point of view? And what I was saying is that women are not afforded the same luxury when they're simply giving their point of view. It always is returned with criticism.
Yeah, I think that's definitely untrue. I think in the manosphere space, maybe that might be true, but you also got to remember these are male-dominated spaces. I'm still trying to find out how so many women became a part of the manosphere, but here everyone is, right? So in this space, of course, you can't. You got to jock for elbow room, or we have to create space for you. But in the greater world out there, that is exactly what's going on. Men get criticized and lambasted for any criticism we have of women, and you even have government help for men not to criticize you, right? Like it's in doctrine, it's in law for people not to say things. You'll get fired from jobs for insinuating things about women. Like, you see what I'm saying? So as just the current times, I think that's completely untrue. Men are the ones who have to be careful and tiptoe around women. In the workplace, we can't say things or it'll become sexual harassment and all of that. So yeah, women have free reign to say whatever they want without consequence. It's men that have to kind of watch themselves in this society.